Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough for each of them to get a little. Jesus asked, hey, where can we get some bread to these people? Where can we buy some food? And Philip's response is, we don't have anything to buy the food. 200 denarii worth of bread is not enough. Even if we have that, it's not enough to give everybody just a little bit of bread. Now, I'll be honest with you, I get the response here. At heart, I am a pragmatist. I like to see what's in front of us. I like to measure the pros and the cons and make a common sense decision after seeing the lay of the land. And so I get Philip's response here. He is looking at what's available in light of Jesus' request. He's like, I've got nothing. We've got nothing. We can't meet the need. But he really had several practical reasons for objecting to respond in a positive way to Jesus' question. First of all, there's just too many blooming mouths to feed. Our passage of Scripture tells us that there are 5,000 men here, but when you look at other gospel accounts, they use the same number, 5,000 men, but they also go further and say, but that doesn't count the women and the children that are there. And so some estimates by scholars believe that it's not just 5,000 mouths that need to be fed, but likely 15,000 or more people that need to be fed. And so logistically speaking, before you talk money, logistically speaking, how do you get food for 15,000 people? Where do you get it? I mean, think about it for us now. Are we going to send everybody to Golden Corral? It's not going to happen, right? The Methodists are already there, so we couldn't beat them anyway. If we had this need, if we needed to feed 15,000 people on this property this afternoon in a short fashion, we would struggle, even in this modern day with all of the modern technology available for us, we would struggle to get enough food together to feed 15,000 people. And if it's a struggle for us today, how much greater would the struggle have been in Jesus' day? I mean, even if we had the money to pay for it. Besides, they didn't have the money. Look at what Philip said there. He's like, even if we had enough, it's still not available. Even if it were available, we couldn't get all the food. He says 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough. Now we know dollars and cents, so that makes sense to us, but a denarii was basically a 1 day's wage for a working man. And Philip says, look, it's going to take 200 days of one man's worth of work, of wages, in order to meet this need. In other words, 2/3 of a year, 8 months of one man's income would still not be enough, and we don't even have that money available anyway. Let me just pause here and speak to something that's on my heart. And I really want to encourage you to be with us this Wednesday for our first Wednesday. We're doing something unique this time. We're taking our business meeting and our first Wednesday gathering, and we're joining things together. And it's going to be a special night. By the way, before I even mention further there, we also encourage you to come. We've got a pretty cool staff announcement that's going to happen Wednesday night that we want to share with you as well. You don't want to get that second hand. We want you to come and hear about that. But let me just speak for just a moment before we get back into this text. If I'm convinced about one thing that modern churches in the Western context struggle with most more than anything else, it's the belief that money fixes everything. And to be frank, it's not just a problem for the church, it's a problem for our governments too. That's why we're so hopped up in debt. We think that if we can throw enough money at a problem, then it's going to fix it. But it's especially troublesome, I believe, for people of faith. And there is no doubt, man, we struggle here as a congregation. We built this facility to be ministering to a much larger week-to-week congregation than what we have presently attending. And because we have oversized the facilities when people come into the room on a Sunday morning for both of our services, because we're not filling it up enough, people go, well, what's going on here? Something's wrong. And I think that's a discouragement to a lot of people, and it discourages them from coming back thinking that something's wrong with us. And so we find ourselves, because we have fewer people coming, and it still costs the same amount of money to run this facility with 1,800 people showing up, or 18 people showing up, that we find ourselves facing financial struggles. I will tell you this, our budgets can be cut back significantly from this year to next year because of that very thing. But I know that there are some folks who just think, man, if we get more people showing up and more people giving, then that's going to fix all the problems of First Baptist Church of Ocala. Let me tell you why that is a problem. Because if that's the answer, more money, is the answer to fix this church, to fix Redemption City Church, First Baptist Church of Ocala, whatever we're going to call it. That is saying that we don't need God in the equation. Guess I'm not. Hello? Echo. When we think that what we bring to the table is what we need to do what God has called us to do, we are leaving God out of the equation. And it's no wonder that we're getting what we're getting. We are failing to draw upon the power of the universe in God Himself. When we think that it's got to be what we do and what we provide or what vision that we cast. It is never going to be, nor has it ever been, about what we do. It's what God does through us. And so when Philip makes this statement, hey, even 200 denarii worth of bread is not enough to feed everybody, even to give them a little taste of bread, it is Philip revealing that he thinks it's about what he can do and not what God can do. And if we never, ever get to this point of realizing how desperate we need to be upon God and His work in us, if we never get there, friend, then we're never going to arrive as a church. Our days are done. All right, all that was free. Let's get back to the text. I want you to look